Hello and welcome back to this session. Today we're going to be discussing about object. Now, what is object? An object is a standalone entity with properties and value. Alright, so let's just use a real life experience to explain what an object is in JavaScript. Then I'll move and explain further what the JavaScript object is all about. Now let's compare it with a cup. For example, a cup is an object with properties. Alright, a property like a cup has a color, a design, a width. Okay, so all these properties I just made mentions has values also. So for example, we have a blue cup. Okay, so the property color has the value blue. All right, so this is one property and has a value to this particular object cup. Okay, so the JavaScript object can have properties, all right, which define the property, the characteristics of that particular object. Okay, for example, you have a person as an object. Now the person that I'm explaining to what I'm explaining the JavaScript object. Now you have a person as an object in JavaScript. Now we're going to that object, that person which is an object, he has something like a name, he has an age, we have maybe the color eyes and all those stuffs. So different characteristics that we are going to be passing into that particular object to define what that object is all about. All right, so very importantly, now an object also is similar to the variable, but object is a better way of organizing information. Okay, it's a much better way of organizing information than using the variable. All right, so with the object, you organize the information in a very standalone way and a very clean way, other than just defining defining it with a variable. Okay, an object give you that that freedom, that liberty to define the characteristic of that particular object in a more in a more better way. Okay, so that's what the object is all about. And now, before we move on, I need you to know that JavaScript has built-in objects. Okay, we have built-in objects that a language has itself. We have built-in objects like if you go into this particular console, if you check in the windows.object, you will see that we have lots of properties and values on this part, on that window. Okay, and we have objects, we have properties like toString, we have properties like .length. All these things are the built-in objects that we have in JavaScript. Okay, so but what we want to do today is how to create our own object with JavaScript. We want to create our own object, all right, with JavaScript, and that will be so interesting when we conclude this. So let's just move on and let's just do something quickly before we end the video. So just come down to your Visual Studio Code. We just come here, we're going to open a new file. So we say object.js. all right, let's just do that quickly. Just going to take this off. All right, then come down to the index page, and let me increase this, and let's link the object file here. Okay, so we have object.js. all right, let's go down to this, and let's move on. Now let's create a basic object. Now we are creating our own object. Before the end of this lecture, I'm going to show you how to get the built-in objects that we have in JavaScript. Now let's move on. Now, for example, we have person as an object here. So this is how to create an object. I told you the object is similar to a variable, but it's not the same with a variable, where it's similar to a variable. You have to declare it the same way you're declaring a variable. So we have let person, that will put an equal. Then instead of just assigning the value into this particular variable, we're going to have a curly brace instead of assigning. Okay, so this is just the difference between the variable and the object. Okay, so the object is has a better way of organizing this information together so we can maximize the use. So we just open this. Then I'm going to pass in some properties that is relating to this person. Okay, some properties that's relating to this person. Okay, so firstly, the person has a name. Okay, so we put the name, then we have a column. Okay, so this is how we are going to create an object. All right, so after opening the block, you put the property, which is name, then you put a colon, then I'm going to pass in the value of this property. The value of this property, I'm going to have it as David. All right, so we have David, just put a comma. All right, then the next property, I'm going to give it age. All right, so put a colon, then we give it the value, which is 28. So after every property, we end it with a comma. Okay, after every property and the value we end it with a comma. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to have eye color, put a colon. I have black here. Okay, so put a comma again. Now objects, we have methods also passed into an object. Okay, it's not just values. We don't just have just properties and values just like this. We also have methods. A method can be passed into the object. Okay, so the method name, okay, will be the property, and we're going to have an anonymous function passed into that particular property. All right, so let me have update age. Okay, so put a colon. So I'm going to create an anonymous function here. So open parentheses, and let's do this here. So I have return plus person dot age. All right, so let's put a semicolon right there. So this is just a very beautiful and a much organized way of creating a variable. All right, so this is how the object looks like. So if we want to use a variable to get this information, we're going to create a variable for name, age, color. All right, we're going to create separate variables for all these informations that we have here. And you can imagine if we have like 200 persons that we want to create informations for. So is it that we're going to create the 200 variables for name, 200 variables for age, 200 variables for color? That will be exhausting. So you see what the object enables us to achieve. You see what we can achieve using the object, classifying this information into one particular block. So this is what we can achieve using an object. So I'm going to show you how to get the informations, output the informations on our console. So firstly, we are going to have this. So we have console.log. So we have person, which is the object name, dot name. Okay, all right, so let's go check that out. Okay, all right, so it gives us David. Okay, now if we want to get the entire object in our console, what we are going to do, we just come down here and take away this, and let's just put the object name person. Okay, all right, so we see that we have the entire object slated here. So you see that the object is written here. Okay, now we have the name, the age. We have the name as David, we have the age, we have the color. Now you see that we have a method here. Okay, so we have the update age. It's a function here and it's a method. All right, so this is how this particular object looks like. So if we have Okay, I just did the dot name. Let's just do the person dot age. Okay, and let's do person dot update age. Okay, so let's go down there and reload. Okay, so we have David, and we have 28. So we didn't do this pretty well. So what we're just gonna do here is that we're gonna call this make this a color here also. All right, so just do that. All right, so we just we omitted the invoking method here for the method. So you see that we have David, we have age 28, and then we have the updated age as 29. All right, so this is what the method actually helps us to do. Now the task that we have in the method is to increment the age. Okay, so that's the functionality that we have on the method. All right, is to increment the age. So that's what we are actually seeing here. So we have the normal age as 28, and we have the incremented age as 29 based on the tags that we have inside the method that we have inside this particular update age. So this is how this particular object looks like. Very, very simple, very easy way of creating an object in JavaScript. All right, so I said before the end of this lecture, I'm going to show you the inbuilt objects that we have in JavaScript. So this is what we are going to do. So just come down to your console, and in your console just put Windows. All right, then click on this. So now look at all this we have here. So these are the built-in objects that we have in JavaScript. Now look at this. We have the alert, we have blur, we have clear interval, we have close. You know, there are so many of them here. So these are the properties and these are the values. So you see that it's also similar with what we are actually doing here. Okay, so you see that the window has a curly brace, and inside the curly brace we have the properties. All right, you see the colon, here, you see the value. So this is a method here. Okay, the ones that you see with F, those are methods. Different methods that we have. Okay, so the ones you see without the F, that just normal objects which is having a property and a value. So these are the built-in objects that we have in JavaScript. So you see that there are so many of them. That we have right here. Okay, so these are the properties, these are the values, these are methods that we use in JavaScript. So they are built in, and every one of them have different functions that they do. Every single one of them have their different functions, different tags, different things that they do to maximize the language JavaScript. All right, so what we actually did here is to create your own object. All right, so that will be really, really helpful when building applications. All right, so without wasting much of our time, that is all you need to know about objects. All right, so I believe you have a good understanding about what we did. So if you don't, just rewind and watch the video again and get notified. All right, so thank you for your time. Thank you for watching my video, and see you in our next session. Bye for now.